Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we made it home relatively unscathed. There was a small incident with a rather large tree limb on Saturday that did mostly cosmetic damage. We were able to repair it on the trail, and it's more of a battle scar than anything else. But other than that, we made it home in one piece. We rode a little bit, like we released episodes from riding on Friday and riding on Saturday. We were out for the weekend, and if you haven't seen them, please go back and view them. And then we did ride a little bit Sunday morning before we wrapped up and came home. It was about a 4-hour ride, so we kind of wanted to get back and have some time to unpack and settle in before we got back to reality on Monday. But we did get some riding in on Sunday, and there'll be some footage from that attached to this episode. Not too much, but maybe 15-20 minutes of footage. And while I'm talking about footage, Saturday night I decided to kind of take a look at how things were going. It's sort of my first real outing with our GoPro, and I realized that the footage that I had been releasing wasn't the greatest, and that I needed to do something different. So I started looking at the settings in the GoPro. I started looking about where I had it mounted, how I had it mounted, and just as simple as paying better attention to keep the lens clean. in the rainy and the muddy conditions that we were doing some of our riding in. And so hopefully you'll notice in the footage from Sunday that we did that. At least in my opinion, it's better. And I mean, it can certainly get better, but it's better than what we had released Friday and Saturday. And bear with me, I'm learning on the job. I'm a bit of a newcomer to all this, but I'm going to continue to work to continue to create better content and better, more watchable footage for you. I actually ordered a new mount for my helmet. So I think it might be pretty cool because you might be able to get like kind of the perspective of what I'm seeing, while it's all going on, and that should be in a couple days. So anyway, hopefully you enjoy the footage from Sunday. If you don't know what we're talking about, me and my buddy Javier took a little weekend camping riding trip out to a place called Rock Run Recreation Area in Patton, Pennsylvania, which is out towards State College. It's sort of a camping and riding destination, and it's like 9 square miles, about 140 miles of riding trails. And the one thing I can tell you is it felt bigger than that. We rode, I guess, all combined, Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, Sunday morning. We rode maybe 2 full days, over 100 miles. And we didn't see everything. And I tried not to ride the same trails twice. And so there's probably a third of the place that we still need to get back and see, and we're certainly going to go back. There was a lot of stuff I want to revisit as well. That we had a really good time. But I guess I'll talk about Rock Run just for a little bit. I always kind of start with the people, right, when I talk about this stuff. And I'll tell you what, like, again, everybody that worked there really went out of their way to make us feel like they were grateful we were there. The people in the Welcome Center, got us in and out to our campsite like right away. The Welcome Center was cool. It had all kinds of groceries in case you forgot anything, and riding gear and t-shirts and sweatshirts, and even like some repair stuff like tire patch kits and chain lube and stuff. So they kind of, thought about what people might need while they were there. And there was actually a wash station there for the machines if you're staying more than a day or two and you kind of want to clean up your machine. They were still closed because it gets freezing out there at night still, but good idea. Unfortunately, we couldn't use them, and it was pretty muddy, but good idea. And then the camping, like they got us out to a little cabin we rented, which was nice. It was exactly what they told us it was. It was small, it was clean, it was heated and air conditioned, and it would keep the rain off your head, And the campsite was nice and clean and groomed, and there was a fire pit, and there were people that worked there that would drive around the property in these little buggies, and they'd come through the campsite, and they'd make sure you had everything you needed, or if you had any questions. But they didn't they weren't overbearing. They didn't bother you. They would just swing by, all good, And we ended up talking with them a little bit about different events that go on there throughout the course of the year, maybe, where certain riding was on the property and that kind of stuff. And they were all great. Like, everybody there was super friendly. We met a lot of fellow campers, people from Virginia and New York, and a lot of people from Pennsylvania. That there were people there that weren't even there camping. They were just there for the day. But we met a lot of nice people. And so, it was just a really great weekend that I kind of really needed. Work has been crazy, and it was just nice to get away. Cell service was sketchy, which was a nice excuse, But the people in the riding were outstanding. The trails were, I'm a trail rider. Like, I love trail riding, right? And that's mostly what it was. A lot of twists and turns and switchbacks and like creek crossings and mud puddles and that kind of stuff, which most of it what it is. Now, every trail's marked, which is nice, like on the property, so you never kind of feel like you don't know where you're at. And each sign that marks it is a certain color, green being for like easiest, blue intermediate, black most difficult, like maybe like a ski slope, right? And they were accurate. You know, the green stuff, which mostly what you saw from our episode from our Friday riding, were you know, twisty, turny, fun, muddy, rocky, but flat. You know, and the easiest trails and fun. You know, and it was kind of like a good day to kind of get a feel for the place. And then Saturday, most of the riding that you saw in Saturday's episode was the blue intermediate trails and some of the black trails. And the intermediate trails were similar to the green, except that there were a lot more hills and like a lot of cool, like up and down the side of a mountain switchbacks, right? Where you go down real steep, you get to the bottom and you go straight back up the same hill and you do it 20 times and just like, that was fun for me. You know, I really enjoy that type of stuff. And then the black trails, they were as difficult as you wanted them to be. You know, like there was different lines that you could take through different obstacles depending on how hard you wanted to ride. Now, I say all that, like if you're the type of rider that's looking for like 100-foot hill climbs and boulder fields that are more than likely going to break you or your machine, then maybe this isn't the place. You know, this is more of a family-oriented spot, but the variety of riding was plenty for me and for my buddy Javier. We had a great time. So recommend Rock Run, 10 out of 10. If you're out that way, I suggest you ride it. If you're looking for a little getaway weekend, I suggest you ride it. We had a great time and we're going to be heading back. What's next? And I don't do a lot of this. I don't talk about what's coming up because I kind of like the whole suspense thing, you know, what am I going to do next thing. But what's next, I think it's important because there's an event coming up that you kind of have to buy tickets for and they might run out kind of thing. And so I want to talk about it a little bit. Obviously, we're going to continue to do our, you know, maybe every other weekend riding content. And hopefully the video footage I take for you is going to get better and better. And I may throw in that random, you know, episode that you don't expect, you know, hiking or maybe another guest, who knows, right? But Memorial Day weekend, the place that we ride most, Famous Redding Outdoors, is having what they call Mudfest, which is, I don't know, if you've watched any YouTube, you've seen these UTV, side-by-side, ATV, dirt bike, weekend bash takeover things, right? Which is what they're having. It's Friday night through Monday, and it's camping, and it's concerts Saturday night and Sunday night, and it's bonfires, and it's guided night rides, and it's scavenger hunts, and they're going to have, like, you know, motorcycle and ATV vendors. They're going to have parts vendors. They're going to have food trucks. It's a big weekend long, you know, off-roading extravaganza, and they're having it at their Darkwater location, which is their main location. But you have to buy tickets, you know, because there's only so many limited spots for camping and parking and that kind of stuff. And so they suggest you buy tickets ahead of time so you don't get left out. Now, even if you're a member, you still have to buy a ticket, but I think they're cheaper for members than they are for non-members. And the one thing they pointed out, like if you're not a member, but you wanted to get, you know, a day or two to check out Famous Redding, maybe thinking about being a member, this is a good way to do that as well. But that's coming up Memorial Day weekend. We're certainly going to be there. I'm going to be there at least Saturday and Sunday. I might stick around on Monday, depending on what's going on and how the weather is and all kinds of stuff. But we're going to be there, and I'm obviously going to take a ton of footage and maybe, hopefully, again, if I've got, you know, the correct cell service and stuff like that, I'll release one for each day as they progress. And hey, if you're going, or if you're thinking about going and you want to get together and do some riding, like, I'm in. You know, I love riding. I love meeting new people. So if you're going to be there, you know, just comment in this episode, and I'll know you're going to be there, and then we can, you know, whatever, exchange cell phone or message or whatever when we get there, and we can get out and do some riding together. But I'm looking forward to that, and so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because Famous Redding is home base for us, and they're awesome. You've heard me go on and on about them. So if they're having an event, I want to promote it the best I can. As always, thanks for watching. I guess I mentioned in an episode previous to this sort of Rock Run series we did that we've had a recent pretty remarkable boost or increase in our subscribers and our viewership that I never really expected when I created the channel, and that seems to be sustaining. And people are watching and people are subscribing, and I'm really grateful for that. And if you're watching what you're doing, if you're watching what we're doing and you're enjoying what we're putting out there, you know, you're enjoying the content that we're doing, you know, if you could subscribe to the channel, you know, how does that help us? Well, I mean, viewing helps us, but how does subscribing help us? Well, in one of the earliest episodes from the channel, I sort of went through like why are we doing this? Like what's our motivation for this? And our basic motivation is just to spread good vibes. Like, you know, do fun stuff, be silly, and spread it to the world, because it certainly could use it, right? And the more views we get and the more subscriptions we get, I guess it's the algorithm at YouTube will suggest our episodes to more viewers, and in turn, more good vibes. So if you're watching and you're liking what you're seeing, please subscribe. If you have ideas on what we could be doing better, please comment. If you have ideas on stuff you might want to see, please comment. I've been getting a lot of comments, and it's fun, you know, interacting with the people that are watching. So anyway, it's all good, and I'm super grateful, and thank you so much for everybody that's been watching what we're doing. It really is a good time. I think that's it. And as always, stay tuned for more content. From Flat Tire Dan. I'll see you.